Thank you.
Pledge.
Pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to open the floor to public comments. Anyone? Yes.
Mary Chiz, 14753 Costner Avenue. I'd like to come back and ask if you're going to be able to provide any sort of formal response to a couple
me.
points on the public petition that we submitted 2 months ago to you.
Ma'am, can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, I will try. Is that any better for you?
Yeah.
Okay, I was asking if you were going to present any formalized response to the petition points, and I would like to raise two in particular to you this evening, and I'll just ask my questions and sit down. The petition asks you to develop a set of performance review criteria for all positions and keep them posted on the website. And I heard at a committee meeting that you do offer performance reviews for employees, and I'd like to know whether or not we can see the review criteria that are asked on those forms, and can we see a blank copy of the employee performance review form, or do we need to FOIA that?
Do we have forms that we can, we can't give you the employee evaluations.
I'm not asking for a filled-in evaluation. I'm asking you must follow format for performance review criteria. So we've asked you for develop a set of performance review criteria, and in that ask for one of the criteria to be considering public feedback. So in relation to that, how specifically are you making a determination for how well an employee is performing and what percentage of increase you deem appropriate? The standard cost of living increase is 1 to 3%, but yet we've seen increases that range from 3% all the way up to 13.7% back to back.
Okay. The performance reviews are performed for the employees by our director, and we take that into consideration each year when that's presented to the board.
And who reviews the director?
Pardon?
Who reviews the director?
The board does.
And do you use the same performance evaluation form that you
No,
have?
we don't.
You do not. Okay, and how do you determine what percentage rate of increase you're going to provide to the director?
Well, ours is under contract for a period of time, and that's set each time that we do our contract.
So every year it's a set rate of increase. Does that, I guess, depending on the contract, then is that percentage vary year to year?
No.
Then how can you explain your percentage increases on the FOIA that I received earlier that said from 2007 to 2008 there was a pay increase of $7,505. The next year it was a $9,061 increase, and the year after that we're down to 2,414.
Well, I don't know. I don't have any of that information in front of me, so
I'd be glad to show you the FOIA if you'd like to see it.
Well, I'm sure I can get a copy of it, but I'm not going to be able to answer that right tonight.
Okay. Then my other last question for you is, again, regarding performance review. So what type of program reports are presented and kept by the director or program director in terms of things that you're offering? Are there any sort of reports that are kept month to month, and comparative reports from 1 month of a year to the next month, like the following year, so that you can compare how well programs are performing?
How long can you answer that with
We
regards to the
do,
program reviews?
we have done reviews, we don't do it month to month, we do it program season to program season and from year to year. overview a year ago to determine if the problem was the time of day, the day of the week, if it was what people wanted, and that has driven us to go on and ask the residents through surveys connected to our website or on Facebook what they're looking for.
When was the last survey offered to residents to provide feedback?
I believe it was in October.
Evelyn, I think it was November.
November.
It was November.
Thank you.
I handed it out to the instructor to give to the parents, and then they put it in a box.
So only if you participated in a program in November did you get an opportunity to provide feedback?
What they did is they provided feedback about that class, and then we asked them, like, you know, what other things would you like to see us do? What other trips would you like to see us do? So it wasn't just main focus about the trip or about the class, it was about the park district as a whole as well.
Well,
It is in our booklet. Every time we post a booklet, it's in there. Call us with your suggestions. It's in your letter every time you write your letter, you put it in there. It's out there.
so it then becomes, rather than trying to collect cumulative data of a program interest, what you're depending on is individual residents to write in basically a request letter to you in order to offer a program rather than you being responsive to the community?
It's not what I said.
I'm trying to understand.
I said that we look at the program results from season to season, how many people signed up, did the program go? We might offer it more than once to see if there was some other problem with it, if it was a bad time of day, if it was the wrong day of the week because of other things that go on. And then in addition to that, we do surveys at the end of the courses that people participate in. And to overlay all of that, we always have it on our website, in our seasonal brochure, and in our president's letter. If there's something you like to see that you're not seeing, please let us know.
Okay, there were a lot of residents who did take the time to directly respond on that change.org petition and provide specific things about the Park District programming that they are dissatisfied with. And I would again sort of ask you to either have a consistent data collection system where every program that's offered, you have a short question survey. I've participated in similar surveys at all different types of organizations, and at the conclusion of a program, we're asked to evaluate the program. It is similar to what you asked, what you just said, which is, was it worth the money? Would you do it again? How would you rank it? What would you change? And those things are turned in confidence and then opened and reviewed as considered as part of an employee's performance. And the reason they do that is that you have a better sense of whether or not that employee is doing a good job and how you might encourage that employee to do a better job and make improvements, or are they a merit of a 1% increase or a 3% increase for the year? Again, it all goes back to how are you keeping track of the public satisfaction and then using that as a reward method for how you're paying your employees.
But what if people don't sign up for the classes?
Well, again,
Because that's the issue like we're having now, for example, with like all of our January ones,
Mhm.
is that people aren't signing up for them. And we've tried these before, and we have brand new programs right now. You know, they're low cost, $10 to $12 for like a one-day event. That's pretty good. So how would you say that having that, because I create this program, is how I get a raise?
All right.
The people who teach the programs are not full-time employees.
But you do
They're hired
that.
instructors for that particular program. Some of them are contracted employees.
Right.
So the way we deal with that is if the program doesn't go, they don't have a job the next time. It's not a matter of giving them a raise or not giving them a raise. So if 10 people sign up for a class and they're not happy with the instructor, we don't fire the rec supervisor, we fire the instructor.
Well, that's understandable.
Well, that
However,
doesn't seem to be what you're saying.
However, what
You
I'm
seem to
saying
think
is
that the employees are
if-
teaching the classes and they're
No.
not.
if there is a responsibility for the employees to line up successful programs, to try and find out why the most successful programs are being successful, asking again, every time there's a program, an evaluation of that program, and what you would like to see in addition to this, collecting more
And we
data,
have done
and then
that.
using social media to sort of be more responsive to a set of requests. If you published a list of existing programs out of your own offerings and what we showed you, comparative park districts are offering, and asked, what types of programs are you most interested in? And you get an email back from me and saying, I'd like to see this for my 8-year-old, and this for my 15-year-old, and this is what I'd like to do for recreation. I'd like to also participate in this trip. Then you're gonna know that I will sign up for those 4 programs. And then if I'm one of 10 parents or 15 or 20 parents that now say, I want that for my 8-year-old, you know that those 20 parents are willing to sign up for your program. And you then offer that program and say, great, well, let's try and be more responsive rather than having this quarterly book or a 6-month published book. Why not have it be more responsive on a 2 or 3 month, like, moving forward and saying, okay, here's what's coming up, here's what you're interested in registering for, we're going to structure and offer you a program, and see if you get a better response rate.
And
Part
what
of it
if-
is timing. I think January is a hard time for parents. They've just spent a ton of money on 1,000,001 things with the holidays.
Now, I did that with the Facebook page, and every single person, except 2, because I couldn't get a photography teacher to teach a class, all those programs that people have listed, I made sure that was in the brochure. I made
Good.
sure of it.
And what
There
if-
were a lot more offerings, and I
And I have a
came to
report
last
on that
meeting.
if we could
Yeah.
get into
And,
our
and what
meeting.
if you sign up and you say you want to do it, and in 2 months, something happens in your personal life and you can't do it? Do you want to be held on the line because that's what you wanted? Things change in people's lives day to day.
They do.
They do. What you think you could afford in February, you might not be able to. You don't know if tomorrow you're going to have a job or not. So, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think they can't plan, I don't see how you could plan out from, offer a class in 2 months. I don't think you could get it together in 2 months. And what I say I'm gonna do in January or in February, I might not be able to do. I'm hoping to do it, but maybe the finances aren't there, or maybe my timing's not there.
Well, it isn't any different than what you're currently offering. That's just it.
Okay, can we get, are you done, Mary?
Yeah, if you could get back to us and let us know whether or not you can post some performance review criteria in response to the website and how you determine the percentage of increase, given that the ranges have been so all over the place, I really appreciate
The only
that.
salary she has is one.
Yeah,
You've already answered that question.
right. Okay, anybody else?
Helen Lekovich, 147th Street. So this would be my 3rd Park District meeting, and I came along to these 2 meetings, this being my 3rd specifically because, again, we are looking into the financial crisis that the village is experiencing. So with the questions
Ellen,
that...
can I interrupt you just
Mhm.
1 second?
Sure.
The Park District is not in a financial crisis.
No, the village is.
The village
And
is,
so,
and that's
well,
totally different.
well, there's tax increases that we're being asked to pay in all of the different separate entities of the overall village being taxed.
Cook County and everything else, so I
Okay, well,
understand that. but
let's regroup that then.
can we
I'm a
just
resident.
Bring it to the Park District,
We're all residents.
right?
And so we're trying to figure out why the village is broke by looking into all the finances. This is a finance issue, and so we were coming here to learn. That's why we started. If anybody listened to what I said, the last time I was here, I said I was here because we're trying to learn more about the financial aspects
Understood.
of everything taxpayers pay for. And that is why we're here, bottom line. So while
But the Park
Mary may
District is
have...
not in a financial crisis, and we have
Yeah,
not
I
been.
said I know that,
in a
so
long
we
time.
can put that one on the shelf. So while Mary did ask questions, and she was personally attacked. I just want to make it clear that you work for the village and we're residents of the village. And so when we ask questions, it's not
No, no,
ridiculous.
Ma'am, we work for the park district, not the village.
Okay, we pay money that pays your salaries. It's
We don't
all
get a
village
salary.
related.
We don't get a salary.
We know that.
We're talking about the paid employees
Okay.
of the
Okay.
park district.
Okay,
Okay, I'm not confused by that. So, we're not attacking somebody, we're just gathering information. So with that said, we were unable to get answers to those questions we posed. And without being able to come back and receive those questions, we discussed this at the last meeting. There was a personal attack on Mary Chiz on the Park District website, and then again on the front page of the newspaper. And so the reason I'm here is because the second step apparently to that retaliation has begun on me today. So I'm wanting to ask anybody who is either up here on the board or a paid employee of the village, if any of you have ever operated or been involved with using the name Carol Price. Okay, anybody working with a email address called wetdeficit@gmail.com? I'm asking for the record if any of you have ever operated on or have
If
used.
this is overlapping from the village, this is a park district meeting.
Mhm.
I'd rather not make any comments with regards to that.
I'm asking you here at the Park District if this has to do with you, because clearly you made a retaliation on somebody else who was here, and now I'm here. And just because I asked a question,
I have nothing to do with that.
okay, well, for the record, then we'll just take that and leave. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Actually, yes, I do. Jean Bartecki, 151st and Pulaski. When you guys have a program, I see these programs are canceled, these programs are canceled all the time. When do you cut it off, with, let's say 3 kids enrolled? How many do you need to have the program run? Or,
It depends, let me answer that. It depends on the program. Sometimes the instructor, if it's a contracted service, they won't do the class if you don't have their minimum. Other times, it's up to us, basically, depending on the program or the event. I mean, if you're gonna play a team game, you can't play a team game with 3 people.
oh, of course, I know
So
that.
typically, our minimum would be 4. And if we don't get 4, we cancel.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anybody else?
Yeah, so let me just follow up on what Evelyn just said. So your 30 to 40% recovery rate is based on a registration of 4 participants? You told us that you have a participation recovery rate of 30 to 40%.
I did.
Yes, you did. At the last meeting, you told us that,
recall saying
and it
that.
was published in the newspaper in your response that said you need to have a 30 to 40% recovery rate.
I think you
So
misread
out of
that.
3 to 4
I
participants,
think you
now we have
misread
to.
that, Mary.
What is your recovery rate for programs?
Our minimum that we try to hold to is 4 people, and we also do a cost per hour and evaluate the cost of the program based on that. The board sets the program rates based on an evaluation of the cost per hour of operating the building.
Okay, well, we'll go back and compare that with the notes of what you told us last time.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, I don't understand why, when we want information from you and we come here, why it has to be a confrontation. You know, we're all here for the same reason, for the same kind of purpose. So I don't know why everybody has to be so antagonistic. It's not a competition here. This is all of our village, all of our park district.
I understand that.
And I would like for it to be better. And I don't understand why there's all this antagonistic and evasion about this.
Okay. Any further comments? Then I'll close the floor to public comments. Looking for approval of the minutes of the special meeting of December 13th.
Make a motion.
I will second it.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Colstead?
Aye. Looking for an approval of the levy hearing minutes of December 18th. I will make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Colstead?
Aye. Looking for a motion on regular session minutes from December 18th.
I'll make a motion.
I will second it.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Granada? Or Mr. Colstead, sorry.
Aye. He's not
But
here.
he's not here. He's still not here.
Looking for a motion on the closed session minutes from December 18th. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Colstead?
Aye. I need a motion on keeping closed session minutes of June 19th closed.
Make a motion.
I will second it.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Colstead?
Aye. Evelyn, Director's Report?
Just a few updates from committee. Basically, I need to confirm a date with you for our annual meeting of either the 7th or the 14th. I'd ask you to check your calendars. You either want to tell me before you leave tonight. I will then schedule it for that Saturday morning, and we will have our annual review and set direction for the next year. I'd also like to give an overview of the classes that were offered in our winter brochure. Classes started, some started this week, most start on Monday. We offered 27 classes to start in January. One class is full, which is the Adventure Hour. 8 classes are scheduled to go and 10 have been canceled. That includes things that people had asked for, including one in particular was Spanish for youth and adults. We had 0 signups for either. As of tomorrow, there will be 14 of the 27 classes canceled because we have less than 4 participants. Some of the things that were asked for in the survey that Angela did in November were more Mommy and Me classes. We offered the the tot spot. We had 0 signups. They asked for floor hockey. We are going to let that go with 4 people, but it just barely meets the minimum. They asked for basketball. Junior basketball is going to go. The biddy basketball that we worked in conjunction with Bremen High School, very disappointing. We have right now 20 participants for the 4 different age groups. They hoped to have a minimum of 60. In discussion with Bremen's coaches, we decided among us that we really want to give this program a shot. It's a great instructional program and a great feeder program for not only the SAC program at the elementary level, but certainly for the high school program. So the Bremen coaches have decided to combine the age groups. We had many more children for the 3rd and 4th grade level than for the 5th and 6th grade level. And this is boys and girls, which makes the numbers even that much more disappointing. They met with the parents last Saturday. They're going to operate the program every other Saturday with a clinic and then do like a 3-on-3 tournament. They're inviting the participants to come to a varsity game at Bremen. They're offering incentives for signing up for summer basketball camp. And basically they're doing anything they can to make the program go. I asked them if they had any requests for refunds or adjustments because it was not what had been advertised, and they said no. So at this point, it's scheduled to continue every other Saturday. The next meeting will be January 24th, and it will be at Bremen. So that's what I know about that right now. Another program that was requested in the survey was yoga, and we do have an instructor, and we have 10 people signed up for yoga. And then finally Spanish, which again, 0, adult or student. And just one other thing under personnel, as I told you last week, Sean Howe has come on as a full-time maintenance employee to replace, he was part-time, and John Klinzak was part-time. With John's leaving, we have moved Sean over to a full-time position. He started today. He is going to work. One of our concerns was to have someone on staff on weekends, and Sean is going to work Wednesday through Sunday, so that we have the weekends covered. He's agreed to that. Glad to have him. He's been with us maybe 2 or 3 years as a part-time or seasonal employee. He's a good worker. Glad to have him with us. And also our, one of our preschool teachers, Hillary Smith, who teaches preschool and Next Step. She got a call this morning during class that her father passed away very suddenly, so our sympathies to her and her family. She is currently on her way to Iowa for services, which are expected to be held on Monday.
Maintenance, safety, and security? I have nothing at this time. Okay. Public relations? I have nothing in finance and budget at this point. Human resources, Tim?
Kevin Dwyer, cleaning front office. Debbie Miller. I have nothing at this time.
It wasn't the normal cleanup, I just want to point out.
Okay. Ed, anything from?
I have nothing unless there's a board question on any issues that might be there.
Under new business, need approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Colston?
Aye. And I need approval of the bill list.
Do you have an updated list, take it, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Nielsen?
Aye.
Mr. Colston?
Aye. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.